Hello everybody, this is Chloe Scott. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the Feldenkrais dance and how it came to be. I want to say something about the dancers. They are part of my group. It's called Dymaxion. And believe it or not, we've been going since, I think it was the 60s when we first started. We sort of became the Feldenkrais, the Dymaxion dancers in the 70s. And we have been ever since. And we have a whole little central group of people who've been with me ever since. And these are the people, with the exception of one who has joined us more recently, who have danced with me for all these years. And so it's quite remarkable. And they have done a wonderful job on this dance, which I must say is harder than it looks. And especially when they do it well, it makes it look so easy. But believe me, when you do it, it's not easy. It takes a lot of energy and it takes a lot of everything. It takes a lot of Feldenkrais. I came to the Feldenkrais work with a background of movement. I had already studied so many different kinds of movement. And the way it came about was that when I took ballet, which I did all through my childhood, I went to ballet school every day. I found that it was very restrictive and very unnatural. I was looking for natural movement, for real human movement. And I think that I found the beginning of it in Moshe's work. So the training started, and it was a most remarkable experience, but I can't go into that right now. And then one day I was on vacation in one time in between the years of the classes. I started working on the Feldenkrais dance because I was just curious to see if you could make Feldenkrais movement be dance, be used as dance, expressed as dance, taking all the movements that I knew out of context, completely out of the lessons, completely out of whatever, just movements, and using them and putting them together in some way. And I started to do that, and I found it really fascinating. So I went along for a while, and I made a whole collection of the movement, a section. And the next time that we came to San Francisco for the training, I thought I'd better show it to Moshe. What if he thinks that, doing this is somehow belittling the dance or the movement or doing something terrible to try to do it with dance? So one day in the training, at lunchtime all the students went away, and the big, huge room where we danced, where we worked out, was empty. But there were always a few people around who was talking to Moshe, because he never could be by himself and not talk. So everybody was gathered around Moshe, about 5 or 6 people. And I came up to him and I said, "Moshe, there's something I want to show you." And he said, "Oh, fine, go ahead. He was sort of up, he was sitting kind of up on something, I don't know quite what, a little dais of some sort. So I lay down in front of him and I started to do the movement. And I had gotten just through the beginning part, and I realized he wasn't paying any attention at all. He was talking to the other people. So I stopped and I said, "Hey, Moshe, you're not looking. You're not looking at this." And he said, oh, yes, of course, yes. And then he paid attention, and I did the dance. And as I was doing it, all the people in the class started coming back from lunch. And so slowly the room was filling up, and everybody came over to see what was going on. So I suddenly had this huge audience in front of me that I was doing it for. And he said, when it was over, good, yes, do it again. And he wanted everybody to see it. which is not my intention at all. I'd wanted to be quiet and private and secret, but here I was. Okay, so I did it again. And he was very pleased. He said, you see? Now, he said, now, you, lie down, all you, and you do it. And we all said, what? And he said, yes, you can do it. Lie down. And so we all lay down again. And I was in the front. And I sort of led it, without saying it, but just kind of and for some reason, some miraculous reason, everybody managed to get through it, to do it, sort of. And it was just triumphant. Everybody's very happy. And Moshe said, yes, wonderful. And, so we all felt good. Well, the next day, there was a movie maker coming to the class to take pictures of Moshe and to interview him and do all this stuff and to take the class, So suddenly in the middle of all of this, he says to everybody, okay, we do Chloe's dance. And everybody thought, what? And I just knew it was disaster because it was cold. We hadn't done it. They hadn't seen it. They didn't remember it. How could they? And so we all lay down again. And I was in the front. And we started again to try to do the Feldenkrais dance. Of course, everybody, it was a muddle. It was a total muddle because no one remembered anything. And so I said, I tried by saying it out loud, bend your knees, swing your leg, da-da-da-da. And he said, no talking. So about halfway through, we just gave up and realized that it was not working. And so that time, it was not so great. But it was still, it just didn't work for the cameras because there's no way you could just pick up that dance, as you will see. So then we went on, and then I just developed the dance in the next couple of years, and I just built it up and added to it, and finally I had what I felt was a complete dance. And then at the end of the training, after the training, the following year when the training was over, we had 4 years and it was over in 1979. And in 1980, I think, we had a symposium. And everybody came to the symposium to read papers and tell what they'd been doing with the Feldenkrais in the meantime. But we didn't write anything. We had a dance because I had taught this dance to 2 other dancers who were in my Dymaxion group, 2 wonderful dancers, Johanna Patnoy and Kay Elyard, and they were in the movie and the original one. And we danced that dance at the symposium for Moshe and the other people who were there to be there. And at the end of that dance, when we'd finished it, he jumped up and he said, "Oh, I have never seen my movement looking so beautiful." And that really made us happy. So that's how the dance was presented originally to Moshe. Same dance you're going to see, but different people. And I'm hoping that you will enjoy it. I certainly have for a long time.
Dymaxion is still going, 45 years later. We meet every Friday, and we dance together, and we stretch together, and we love each other. It is so wonderful to have a group of women to have grown up and older with. Tonight, the 3 dancers who are doing this dance are all Feldenkrais practitioners. There is Janet Loops, who did the very first training with Chloe in San Francisco. And I'd have to say, in a way, this is all her doing, because she announced to Dymaxion that she wanted to do the Feldenkrais dance on her 70th birthday. And she wanted to know if any of us wanted to do it with her. And we groaned and we said, well, I don't know. And we thought, all right, let's do it. And so we have, for the last number of months, been working very hard to get this dance down because it's quite difficult. And Kay Elliard said that she would join us, and she is also 71 and was in the original threesome. Myself and Chloe and Kay danced it many times in the early days. And Jen Cosgrove, our youngest member, she's only been in Dymaxion 12 years. And she's only 50 years old, has been very patient with all of us as we've figured out how to do the dance, all of us together. And we have two understudies from our group, Annie Lambrecht, who's here tonight, and our dear friend Patricia Burbank, who wasn't able to join us. But we needed understudies because, you know, when you get a little older, you don't quite know what your body's going to do in the morning. And so it was so comforting to know that we had backups to do the dance. And so many of the Dymaxion dancers have helped us and supported us to get this going. And it's really been a wonderful tribute to Chloe, to the Feldenkrais system, that we can still do this dance so many years after the fact.